and welcome to Newsroom series on Channels Television. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Our focus today is on the South-South region, but first, our top stories for the day. The federal government has alerted Nigerians to the water release from the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon. This was made known in a statement signed by the Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, Mr. Umar Mohammed. The statement notes that the authorities of the dam will initiate controlled water releases, which started on September the 17th, adding that the water discharge is anticipated to progressively escalate to 1,000 cubic feet or to 1,000 cubic meters over the next 7 days based on the inflow from the upstream Garwa River. Meanwhile, the federal government has commenced the dredging and desilting of the Ogun River downstream between Isheri in Ogun State and Ikorodu in Lagos State to check the perennial flooding which has continued to devastate lives and property in communities around the river downstream. Managing Director and Chief Executive of the Ogun-Osun River Basin Development Authority, Adedeji Ashiru, during the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding for the project at the Ikorodu end of the river downstream, said this has become imperative in view of the expected downpour in the states which could lead to flooding. Now, the 10-kilometer dredging project from the Ikorodu end to Isheri in Ogun State is expected to be carried out in phases. Former Governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, has honored the invitation of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, and that's according to a statement by the Director Yahaya Bello Media Office, Ohiare Michael. The statement says the decision was made after due consultations with his family, legal team, and political allies. According to Mr. Michael, the former governor, who has great respect for the rule of law and constituted authority, had all the while only sought the enforcement of his fundamental rights in order to ensure due process. He goes on to say that since the case has been before a competent court of jurisdiction, and Alhaji Yahaya Bello had been duly represented by his legal team at every hearing, it is important for the former governor to now honor the invitation of the EFCC to clear his name, as he has nothing to hide. The market women in Edo State say they have scored Governor Godwin Obaseki very high marks, that is, for his performances in office over the last 8 years. And to this end, they have declared support for the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, in Saturday's governorship election. The market women leader in the state, Madam Blackie Ogiame, stated this at the Solidarity Rally inside the tennis court of the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City, the Edo State capital. Governor Obaseki, in his appreciation for the show of support, announced the support of 1 billion naira for the market women to help cushion the impact of the harsh economic realities in the country.
Mr. Governor, your achievements as governor are too numerous to mention. But we are confident that your successor will continue from where you stopped for the betterment of Edo people. We assure you that we have perfected plans to cast our vote for the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Dr. Aswa Igodalo, and his deputy Barrister Saudi Ogi, in this Saturday's governorship election to enable him to continue and maintain the good work you have started. Victory is guaranteed for the People's Democratic Party as Edo people go to the polls.
This government, we don't decide, say we must support una. We must support una with money to help una business come up again. We know how una they do for market. Una they do a susu. Every day una they contribute money, give another person, make you take do your own markets. So what thing I don't decide before I go, I want to put 1 billion naira to help market women and other traders for Edo State. Make it help them business, make it go up. We go sit down with you now. Make una show us how una go do am so that the money dey go round.
The candidate of the African Democratic Congress in the forthcoming governorship elections in Edo State, Derek Izedonwe, is promising to revitalize the state economy if he is victorious and ascends to the #1 seat in the state. Mr. Izedonwe, while mapping out his plans for Edo, also says he will develop the infrastructure of the state, which will also translate to economic development. He was speaking on our midday political program, Lunchtime Politics.
It is very key that the infrastructure in a state is at least above par for the sort of strategies we intend to deploy, because if you want foodstuff to leave the farm gate to the factories, you need good roads, you need good infrastructure. If you want the processed food or processed materials to leave the factory gate to the ports, airports or seaports, you need the right infrastructure, i.e. roads. But of course, we will not attack the road problem at once. We are going to look at these areas of strategic importance, those areas that will increase our productivity quotient, if you like what the economists call the solo coefficient. How will this road transform into revenue for the state and, of course, comfort for the people? So we have a clear plan of certain road networks that we want to start with. And those are what we will kick off with initially, looking at the resources at our disposal. What we need to do is to democratize prosperity. What do I mean by that? The #1 agenda, the #1 area we want to focus on is agriculture. So we want to empower people. I give you a classic example. If I give women in the villages today, one of the local governments, 500 goats, Nigerian dwarf goats that produces 4 kids every year. In a year, these dwarf goats will produce 20,000 kids. These 500 women with 500 women with 10 goats will have 20,000 goats. In today's amount, you have a goat for 50,000 naira. Immediately, you create 1 billion naira for a local government. So there are clever ways we intend to create prosperity for our people and empower their earning capacity. Because when they are earning more, then they can go into the market to spend more and create a multiplier effect in the economy. So we're not just going to be giving rice and giving handouts. We're going to restructure the economy and try to address the structural economic imbalance that we see, so that we can turn our economy from consumption to production.
One of the parties contesting in the Edo State governorship election, that's the Labour Party, is already having its mega rally in Benin City. Well, let's go live there to see how the event is shaping up.
Another round of applause for our papa. Candidates of Labour Party are present. We have the governorship candidates of Delta State, Mr. Kempela.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
We have the governorship candidate of Lagos State, the man that is giving Tinubu heart attack. His presence here, that young, valuable road people.
Young and very vibrant, very articulate. Labour Party!
Of course, the Labour Party, they're holding its mega rally. Live pictures you see there from Benin City in Edo State. Well, ahead of the September 21st governorship poll in Edo, the Nigerian Air Force has commenced the airlift of election materials for the Independent National Electoral Commission to Benin, the Edo State capital. A statement by the Deputy Director, Public Relations and Information, Group Captain Kabir Ali, says this move is part of a broader effort to ensure timely and secure delivery of sensitive materials necessary for the smooth conduct of the elections. The statement adds that the airlift operation demonstrates the collaboration between the Nigerian Air Force and INEC, aimed at facilitating logistics and ensuring a peaceful election process in Edo State. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, had during a recent meeting with the INEC Chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, reiterated the Nigerian Air Force commitment to providing airlift for the swift movement of electoral materials in fulfillment of the NAF's constitutional responsibility of providing military aid to civil authority. As the nation strives to ensure adequate food security, rural farmers are calling for an urgent intervention on rural development to access the market, especially as communities across Nigeria celebrate the harvest of the king of all crops. The attention of the rural farming communities, particularly in Ughelli Yala local government area of Cross River State, has been highlighted during a festival rooted in centuries of tradition, symbolizing thanksgiving for bountiful harvests. However, for many farmers this year, the celebration comes amidst growing concerns over food security and the numerous challenges facing agricultural production in the rural areas.
Farming remains the backbone of these rural communities, with majority of Yala population engaged in agricultural activities. Yet farmers in this region face several obstacles that threaten their livelihoods and the nation's food security. Beyond climate-related challenges, rural farmers also face significant infrastructural problems. Poor road networks making it difficult to transport farm produce to larger markets. For the Yala people, the harvest season of yam is a time to rejoice, symbolizing the end of one farming season and the beginning of another. Residents plead with the government not to only complete the 5-kilometer road project being flagged off by the state governor, but to extend the gesture to cover another 40-kilometer stretch to ease transportation between the state and its neighbors.
Everybody is very, very happy. If you are from Ughelli, there's no how you will not be happy about what is going on right now. And we hope that they can take this road from the beginning to the end. And of course, the governor should come for the official commissioning of this road. This access takes you from here to Benue and from Benue to Abuja to any part of northern Nigeria. So this road is the federal government road, but it has been impassable for so many decades. And that has been the reason why the Ughelli people have been advocating for a road.
For the state government, the harvest season helps in boosting the hospitality sector of the state as well as boosts tourism.
Season of harvest is what is promoting our agro-tourism initiatives. The season of harvest is a harvest period that will grow the traffic to the Cross River Central and Cross North. Let me tell you the benefits of this occasion today. If you go to Yahya today, all the hotels are fully booked. Go to hotels, we are fully booked. It has promoted our hospitality sector of tourism in Cross River State.
Senator representing Cross River North Senatorial District promised to contribute his quota to ensure the completion of the Ughelli Road project.
We will not stop. We will continue. As the governor is doing his best, because of the paucity of funds at the disposal of the state, we at the national level, every year we will try to do something on this road. At last, we will achieve it. The road will be done by the grace of God.
Amen. As the New Yam celebration kicks off, it is clear that while the cultural importance of the celebration remains strong, the farmers who make it possible are facing unprecedented challenges, with a growing call for government and stakeholders to address these issues.
Welcome back. The Niger Delta Development Commission, the NDDC, has called on communities across the Niger Delta region to embrace its sustainable agricultural development schemes to reduce overdependence on oil revenue. NDDC Managing Director Samuel Ogboku, who stated this, says the youth of the region will be the ultimate beneficiaries of the Commission's investment in agriculture, as the local economy will receive the needed boost. Mr. Ogboku was speaking during a visit by stakeholders from Ogba Egbema and Doni local government area of River State to the NDDC headquarters in Port Harcourt.
Stakeholders from the oil and gas producing Ogba-Egbemandoni local government area of Rivers State are at the NDDC headquarters in Port Harcourt, the state capital, at the instance of the Oba of Ogbaland, Dr. Nwachukwu Nnam Obuoha Obi III. The Onelga stakeholders are here as part of regular engagements with critical stakeholders of the region by the current board and management of the NDDC. The delegation, led by Christian Ojoba, is drawing the attention of the interventionist agency to the plight of its people despite being the hub of oil and gas in the Niger Delta.
For decades, our communities have suffered from inadequate infrastructure, poor social amenities, amidst the abundance of oil and gas reserves that fuel the nation's growth. This stark disparity has led to the widespread discontent, frustration, desperation among our people.
With about 70% of the total oil and gas contribution to the national economy coming from the area and being the single highest contributor to the total gas produced in Nigeria, other members of the delegation say Onelga deserves inclusion in the dividends of oil production and an urgent attention to its environment.
We are highly very worried and we fear that if the appropriate authorities, including NDDC, do not come to our aid, it might grow as a slum.
I'm calling for a deliberate, a very personal action to address environmental concern of the Eke and the Onega people. Something similar to what is happening in Ughelli. There should be a clear environmental action to deal with the environment of Eke and the entire Onega people.
The Rivers State representative on the NDDC governing board, Mr. Tony Okocha, who brokered this meeting, commends the Onelga stakeholders for choosing dialogue over open confrontation.
When you confront first without consulting and consolidating, then you are taking the part of, somebody who is a never do well. And so we agreed when I spoke with His Majesty, His Eminence, very revered, and he said to me, well, that they seem to have suffered neglect. Let me use the word seem so much in Onelga, and that we have not, thought of being responsive to their problem. Before even that of your child.
And for the NDDC Managing Director, the current board and management believes in the efficacy of stakeholder engagement to address critical issues plaguing the Niger Delta people. He, however, urges the Onelga people to take advantage of the Commission's agricultural programs to diversify the region's economy.
If we really want to employ 500 youths or more from Onelga, the only way is agriculture. Sustainable agriculture that most of these youths can really sustain themselves. Let us think towards sustainability. That is what I want all of us to partner to do. Some of us here are more exposed and more experienced than we. So if we put heads together, sit down together, we know we can come up with something. Thank you very much. Thank you.
For over 60 years, Ogba-Egbemandoni local government area of Rivers State, with its huge oil and gas reserves, has been a major contributor to the Nigerian economy. The NDDC says it would meet their needs through development initiatives, including construction of bridges and internal roads, youth empowerment schemes, agricultural development schemes, as well as cultural revival schemes.
In Delta State, the Federal Medical Center has taken delivery of some drugs that will make up the drug bank donated by an advocacy group in order to reduce Nigeria's high maternal and infant mortality rate. Mr. Seyi Tinubu, who is also one of the major stakeholders of this initiative, has inaugurated a drug bank for patients with obstetrics and gynecological and pediatric pharmacy units at the Federal Medical Center in Asaba. Represented by the National Coordinator of the Maternal and Child Health Intervention, Dr. Ughelli Benson, he insists this will complement the federal government's efforts and investments in the health sector.
According to UNICEF, Nigeria's 14 million women of childbearing age suffer a high level of health issues surrounding childbirth. While the country represents 2.4% of the world's population, it currently contributes 10% of global deaths of pregnant mothers.
Access to genuine information.
Officials of the Federal Medical Center, Asaba, led by Chief Medical Director Victor Osiatuma, gathered to discuss the ugly trend and what can be done to reduce the incidence. An advocacy group led by Mr. Sheyi Tinubu is setting up a drug bank for indigent patients in obstetrics and gynecology and pediatrics pharmacy units. According to the group, the target is to reach out to 60 selected hospitals across the country to cater for 600,000 indigent patients monthly.
As we want to be able to reach those less privileged persons who may not have money at the time of need, but still require to be cared for. So this intervention is to care for such people without necessarily having money in their pocket. They can access very important drugs. They can access very important delivery supplies that will be life-saving at that time. And that's why this is very important. Most of the things we're talking about are life-saving interventions.
We are quite impressed with the reception offered to us by the management of FMC Asaba. And they have actually expressed how important this intervention is and how long it will go to help the indigent patient that usually report to the hospital. I want to also plead with the team, the management team, the coordinators of the program to accelerate and improve on the speed so that a lot of other hospitals can be covered within the shortest period of time.
This event also coincides with the World's Patient Safety Day, and the CMD of the Federal Medical Center paints a picture of the challenges the facility faces frequently and how this initiative will support the healthcare.
Government had a policy that the first 48 hours we should intervene. Even when you do that, blood is not sold in the hospital. They need to get blood. Our staff at times have had to donate to intervene in the lives of such patients. But after 48 hours, what happens? The patients are helpless. So this comes readily as succor to such patients. And when they come in at such times, they can get an intervention. They can get help. We can save such patients.
The Federal Medical Center, Asaba, is the second health facility to benefit from the initiative, and the management believes it is the right way to go, encouraging other health advocacy groups to come on board.
The Niger Student Loan Fund, NAF, has clarified that the scheme is not about giving more attention to institutions in certain parts of the country against the others. The Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of the fund, Akintunde Sawyer, made the clarification at an enlightenment campaign organized by the National Association of Nigerian Students in the University of Port Harcourt. He explained that the agency allocates funds to institutions based on students' needs, which are indicated in the volume of requests from such universities.
Less than a month after their visit to Ignatius Ajuru University of Education in Rivers State, the leadership of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, and the management of the Nigeria Education Loan Fund have taken their awareness campaign to the University of Port Harcourt.
Great Nigerian students.
The event, held at the university's Convocation Auditorium, is attended by students who are interested in learning about the application process for newly established student loan scheme and its key components. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Owonari Georgeville, opens the session by commending the federal government for initiating the loan scheme.
I urge you, ask every possible question in your mind about the scheme. Everything that you need to know, please ask, so that when it's here, you will be able to key into this wonderful program, so that going to school will be easier for you.
The Managing Director and CEO of NAF Fund, Mr. Akintunde Sawyer, who shares his personal experience as a former student who benefited from a loan, encourages Uniport students to take advantage of this opportunity by the federal government to achieve their educational goals.
I'm standing in front of you today. I am in Nigeria. I took a loan when I was at university. I haven't looked back. I've worked in Denmark, I've worked in the UK, I've worked in the US, I've worked in Dubai, I've worked in Saudi Arabia in very senior positions, not because I'm the child of anybody special, but because I had a certificate and knowledge paid for through a loan that I've been able to show the people that have employed me.
Sawyer also revealed that Uniport has been allocated 66 million naira to cover school fees and living expenses, adding that additional funds will be available as more students apply.
If you don't need it, don't apply. If you need it, don't drop out of school. If you apply, the money that comes to this work for those of you who have applied. It will also work for those who haven't applied. But the more that apply, the better. 66 million is what we've given to you. There's another institution in another part of this country who we gave 850 million because they applied. That's what we gave the institution. We gave a further 1.2 billion to the students directly. We paid them directly. So that institution took from us. They took from us a little bit over 2 billion. We have plenty of money.
Speaking finance, its National Secretary, David Barereka, assures the students of their willingness to raise awareness and ensure students make full use of loan scheme to complete their education.
We started this week with South-South. We've done Cross River State, that's University of Calabar. We're at Uyo yesterday, and today we're in the University of Port Harcourt, which is River State. We are moving from here to Bayelsa. The aim is for us to sensitize our students all through the country, so that nobody will have the excuse of not being aware of this scheme.
It is expected that more universities will intensify efforts to inform students about the loan fund program to help them achieve their educational goals.
And with that, we draw the curtain on Newsroom series. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun.